Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Box Office. My name is Sam, I'm your host. With me again is Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Internet, how you doing?
And Laurence. Hello, Laurence.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
Hello, Laurence.
We've got another great episode planned for you. Lots of movie talk, as well as another very special guest, the wonderful Corbin Bleu, who dropped by for a chat. You may know him from the High School Musical trilogy and Jump In, as well as many other films. So we'll get to that shortly. So how's everyone been, Steve?
Yeah, really good actually. Really great. Been watching obviously loads of TV as usual. Putting up the reviews on boxofficebeyond.com. Loving Perception at the moment. That's fantastic. Obviously we had the chance to meet Rachel Lee Cook and Eric McCormack at UK TV Live.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Sort of obviously that was a follow up to our interview we did for the show. That was a great event. Great show.
Yeah, for those listening to the episode, when she went, I'm coming over to the UK, we ended up meeting her and Eric McCormack, as well as a load of other people promoting TV shows over here, so that was really cool.
Yeah, so if you go to the website, you can see the reviews and you can see all the interviews we did at UK TV Live. Obviously still watching Doctor Who and reviewing that as usual. Really enjoying Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. He's definitely surprised me. I think he pulls off a lot of energy. And he can be cranky, and he can be really quite abrupt, cold, nasty person, but actually still so likable. So yeah, I'm having actually a great time. And obviously I did the whole, you saw obviously on the website as well, box office over the decades.
Yep.
You know, what I did was I took, the meta scores from Rotten Tomatoes, for the 9 highest grossing films of the summer, 2014, because I took out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I wanted to put in Edge of Tomorrow because it's such a great film.
Mm.
You know, so I put that in there. So I worked out the average Metascore for 2014. I accumulated the US domestic box office for the 10 best films of summer 2014. And then I went back, rather than going back to 2013, 2012, 2011, like that, where you'd end up having Amazing Spider-Man versus Amazing Spider-Man 2, all that kind of stuff. I went back to 2004. 1994 and 1984 and did the same thing, and I adjusted all the box offices for inflation.
Yeah.
And the results are pretty interesting. I mean, as you see, if you go to boxofficebeyond.com and check out the results, even without being adjusted for inflation, the two biggest films for most of the years, except for 1984, because obviously the ticket prices were a lot cheaper, they just took more money, full stop. I mean, Shrek, you know, even before inflation was like 400 million, and even Guardians, you know, is still just about going to scrape over 300.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference. And I say why, and I explain that at the end. I think about why there's a difference. You know, the internet, obviously, and ticket prices. Yeah, so yeah, it's good.
Excellent.
How are you still single, Steve, when you do stuff like that? I just don't
I don't know actually. I think that a good sort of like a PowerPoint would attract me like this. I mean, when I go on my first dates with them, I take out my iPad and I load up the PowerPoint and explain why I'm such an amazing cat.
You got your answer right there, Loz.
Yeah, they don't seem to be as impressed as I am by the animation.
Yeah.
Maybe you should use pie charts. Everyone likes a pie chart.
I know, pie charts are definitely tempting. I mean, I've downloaded some more fonts. The next day I go on, I've got some nice new fonts to catch their eye. How you been, Loz, anyway?
I'm watching heaps of Breaking Bad. I've been a bit sick, but I watched Divergent at the weekend, and we won't talk about that. And that's about it, really. What about you guys?
Other than, been to UK TV, we've been building the new website and just putting a load of content out. Now we've gone round the table, let's jump into the Corbin Bleu interview. Here we go. So we have another very special guest joining us on the podcast, the one, the only Corbin Bleu. Thanks for joining us, Corbin.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's an honour to have you on the show. You know, we're fans of your work, and we'll just shoot some questions at you now if you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shoot away.
Okay, so a good one to always start off with is, what made you get into acting and film in general? I mean, was it something you pursued at a younger age, or something you just fell into?
It started really young, man. It started actually at 2 years old. My father's an actor as well, and my mom used to do it. That's actually how they met. They met on a set. But you know, my parents with all of their kids, and the oldest of 4, have always involved their children in everything, from sports to art. Very, academics were always very important. And they sort of just let that kid flourish in whatever they found, their love for. And for me, man, just literally from day one, it was always performing. My dad would used to take me into auditions with him, like, on his back. And, just would always quote movies, always a ham. Always needed to be on the camera. And then one day they put me in the dance class.
Okay.
That was it. I was booked, so started tap dancing and in elementary school started singing in the choir. And off Broadway when I was about 6. And I was a Ford model back in New York. So I was doing print work. I started modeling Tommy Hilfiger. So I mean, literally from get-go, this has been my life. And then eventually when we moved to LA in '96, my family ended up enrolling me in LA County High School for the Arts. And I got a chance to really study theater there. And when the time came, I actually ended up at a crossroads, deciding was this actually what I wanted to do as my career for the rest of my life, or did I want to go down a different road? And I was considering becoming a pediatrician. And,
okay.
yeah. And then I actually got accepted to Stanford, and that was for psychology. That was a different route I was thinking about taking. And that was right at the time when I booked the musical.
Okay.
The project that sort of directed my career and changed everything and really set it as, nope, this is it.
I mean, obviously a lot of people start off, I mean, you said you had some modelling roles and things like that, but I mean, if you look at your sort of like your resume and that, you sort of, the first handful of films you did were sort of quite big films. Obviously, you worked. It was Kurt Russell's Soldier. You got Galaxy Quest and Mystery Men. So
yeah,
it's not. It's almost
that
like
was to me. Was why even to this day I'm grateful I got a chance to start at an early age, because from get-go I was always around, when for instance, working on Mystery Man, I played William H. Macy's son. And I was, I think I was like 8 or 9, or I worked at ER when I was younger, around all these very high-profile names, and for me it was just play. I just enjoyed it. I didn't quite grasp the gravity of what people that I was working with. So to this day, I don't really get intimidated.
yeah.
And I really feel like it's giving me the ability to not have fear going into anything.
Okay. Cool. Steve.
Well, yeah, it kind of answered one of my questions there, because I was going to actually ask, what was it like to be of such a young age on the set playing around with like the NESA protector on Galaxy Quest? Because it must have been like just one giant toy. It's like you're there as a kid, obviously probably a Star Wars or Star Trek fan, but you're playing with a ship. It was so cool.
Yeah, so that scene where I'm moving I'm driving the ship. I was playing around with it so much, I actually broke it. I literally broke the piece off the set. It's this little device, the little joystick piece that every time there's a yell cut, I'm still there driving my ship in my imagination, and I just broke the handle clear off. And pretty much they just had to, they had me just hold it there for the rest of the...
It's just like so much fun to be able to do that kind of stuff, and that. I mean, it's quite impressive though when you say sort of like the career paths you could have taken. That is a very big decision and a lot of options laid out in front of you.
I've been, like I said, man. My parents have been everything to me. I'm extremely blessed, man. My parents are incredible. They really, really are incredible, and extremely supportive, extremely loving, and nurturing, and most importantly, they've always wanted us to be able to fulfill everything that it was in our nature. So even when I was in this business for many years, they still would say, hey, keep your mind open, keep your options open. If it's something else that you want to do it.
Yeah.
So I gave all the credit to that.
Yeah, I think a lot of sort of people I speak to sort of these days, a lot of the messages they took from like the film, for example, High School Musical, was that there were other options in life other than just doing standard things. There was so much out there to try and do and like take part in.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, no, yeah, it's just a lot of people I speak to, when they talk about High School Musical, they sort of like say that the film inspired them, that they, to try new things, and they didn't have to just be this one kind of person. They could have two conflicting hobbies. They could, they didn't have to just fit themselves into one little box.
Right, and well, that was about when it comes to High School Musical, that was. For me, what sort of even projected me into doing a lot more charity work, just because I got a chance to be a part of this project that really did inspire a lot of kids to not put themselves in a box. I found myself in a place where I was constantly involved with kids, constantly having kids come up and talking to me about just watching the film and how it's been able to transform their life, or how they've been able to go and do other things, and I found myself loving being able to be an influence, and really started getting involved in a lot more charity work. And still to this day, most of my charity work is all involving kids, whether it's hospital work, pediatric work. So big part of Starlight Children's Foundation and Make-A-Wish Foundation, anti-bullying, involving kids in the arts, helping out. I'll go and I'll teach workshops. Pretty much, for High School Musical, that really was a huge turning point for me, man. Not just because of career, but just I think because of a lot of what I knew I wanted to do in my life as someone that I would want to be as a force.
That's fantastic, Laurence.
Yeah, keeping on that High School Musical thing that you was just saying then. I mean, I work with kids myself, and I know it can be very rewarding. But I also find that when you're around kids, you've got a certain persona that you have to portray. But as soon as you're away from them, the conversation can change and get quite funny. I mean, what was it like on set at High School Musical? Was it always so serious, or behind the scenes, was it a lot more relaxed?
Well, I mean, we were pretty much in the age of high school. I was the youngest one on film. So I was 16 for the first one, and everybody else was like 17, 18, 19, right around that age. So we were crazy kids.
I mean,
we had fun. We really had fun, man. It was a passion project for everyone to be able to go and do something that we all love, and it's kind of unheard of. It seems unreal, but really all very good kids. I mean, everybody that was a part of that project, were all very hardworking, all very driven, and very kind. I mean, that's the thing is, you have a lot of kids coming together that all sort of grew up in this industry, and that can be a recipe for disaster and health. And, I feel like that's partly why the project became so successful as well. Because even when it came to not just the films themselves, but just everything that transpired afterwards, with the music and tours and just kind of going out and meeting people all over the world. I think the influence that we had on these kids was just because everybody that was involved was genuine. which for me, you know, it was the coolest thing ever, man. To have that project be something that still to this day sticks to my heart as fun. And obviously I've gone on and done other things and worked with people that I don't necessarily want to work with again. So, you know, I gotta say that project, you know, was special.
Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, go on, Mark.
I was just gonna say, you pretty much grew up together, like, you know, it's a friendship there, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, man, yeah, it's crazy. We actually just did like a dinner reunion. I hadn't seen everyone in the same room for several years. I mean, we all still to this day will go and chat and meet up separately, but Monique Coleman, who plays Taylor in the movie, she had a charity winner for her organization, Give Me Mo, and the winner won a dinner with the cast. It still wasn't all of us. We Zach was out of town, and Lucas was out of town, but it was me, Vanessa, Ashley, Monique, Chucky, our choreographer, and Kenny Ortega, our director, and just to even sit down with all of them and kind of look across the table and see a lot of my youth and see just no matter what, I look at them, I'm like, I'm always gonna have love for these people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that you all committed to the tour and that, and you travelled around the world together, sort of shows that it wasn't so much of a, you know, paid, like just another gig, you know, it was, you know, you committed to that and obviously the sequels, but something that I always thought was a bit funny, obviously, I remember they broadcast one of the live performances on TV, from the show, and I remember sitting down and then, obviously, Zac Efron didn't actually do any of the singing in the first film. I mean, was that a bit strange, you know, sort of going on tour without him and doing it? Because obviously the guy, was it Drew?
Tour.
Yeah.
Drew, yeah.
And was that a bit strange, or?
I mean, it wasn't something that was really planned. When the tour happened, Zach ended up booking Hairspray.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would have been able to do the tour either way. He ended up singing in the other films.
Yeah.
But it worked out wonderfully because Drew Seeley not only is a fantastic performer, but because he did do the singing in the first film, you know, those songs, his voice was recognizable for those songs. So, you know, I just felt like we just had another, you know, member added to the team. And then, you know, obviously Zach came back for 1 and 2 and did his own thing there. I'm trying to think back to the feeling that I had at that time. I really don't think we found it that odd.
Yeah.
It made sense just because, like I said, you know, the music made sense and Zach was working somehow.
Okay. I mean, obviously, you were all, as you were saying, you were all pretty much of the age of your characters. I mean, let's see, in Hollywood, a lot of famous actors sort of start off in roles where they're playing high school kids, but, you know, they're a lot older than the age they're playing on screen. I think once I read that, James Van Der Beek, who was in Dawson's Creek, was something like 8 years older than the character he was playing in school. You know, but I mean, it's good to see that obviously in the High School Musical films they actually chose you of age. I mean,
we really were going through it, and it was authentic in that sense. And you know, I even through the rest of my career, I've tried to find projects that will keep me. So I can continue to make everything an extension of myself. So I'll try to find projects that sort of coincide with where I'm at right now. And then even, you know, like last year, or not last year, sorry, 2 years ago, I did Godspell on Broadway. And, you know, I'm at a point in my life that it's not high school anymore. It's definitely not high school. And I ended up playing Jesus in Godspell, and you know, just got a chance to sort of live through a much, obviously, civic life, but just much more mature life, a stronger growth.
Okay, Steve.
So I mean, with the High School Musical and obviously all this charity work and that's a lot of positivity coming from something. And I mean, do you ever think that sometimes the media are more obsessed with printing the negative rather than, that they'll put out 1,000 articles about, say something like a DUI, but they won't put out, well, they'll maybe put out one article about a great charity event like that charity dinner.
Well, the negative's more juicy.
Yes, yeah.
and it is true. Media definitely focuses a lot more on negative than positive. I believe that there is so much positive out there, and we as people, it's just like anything. You meet if you're in a group of people and you're everybody you seem to be getting along with, except that one person they stick out like a sore thumb, and you can't concentrate on anything else but that. It's flying suit. So I understand, and we as society eat up the negative. So we can try and complain that the media only focuses on negative constantly, but we sit there and watch it like it's candy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You just have to do your part to try to be the beacon of positivity and hope that at one night it gets recognized or two, just whether it's recognized or not, you're making a difference. You're making your effect.
Yeah, I mean, was there anyone who gave you like any kind of golden advice while you were sort of like growing up on movie sets?
Advice? I mean, like I said, my father and my mother
are
huge influences on me. One of the coolest bits of advice, though, and to me, the most incredible person that I've met in my career was Michael Jackson.
Oh, amazing!
He came to one of our concert tours in Las Vegas. And just first of all, I'm my idol. I've been a huge fan since day one.
Yeah.
And he came to the show. We got a chance to meet him. That was wonderful. But 2 years later, we're at dinner in Paris, and Michael calls Kenny Ortega, our director's phone, and he just picks it up. He's like, "Oh, it's Michael." I'm like, "Oh. Michael, okay, sure." Michael Jackson just calls you dinner. So he picks up and passed the phone around, and I got a chance to talk to him. And we were just all so excited, not just because we were talking to Michael, but we were really in the midst of touring and in the midst of everything going up on this rise, and Michael was just so excited to hear of a group of young kids really enjoying what they're loving doing. And he ended up saying to me, he was like, "You know what, man, no matter what, at the end of the day, it can get really lonely up on that stage."
Yeah.
So it's the people who you truly love doing it with, or the people who love watching you up on that stage, you gotta continue to hold on to. And just, that meant so much to me in many different ways, but mainly to be able to hear someone who, I mean, to me has tackled so many different things, to be able to admit that, and to be able to say, to me that you just gotta hold on to the positive, That's sort of that same realm we were just talking about. It doesn't matter what's going on, You find those positive moments, find the positive people, find the things that keep you going, and that's, I mean, life is so fleeting, and there's not enough time in it just to focus on things that are just not going to let away too fast.
Yeah, definitely. Close.
Well, just keeping in that vein, I mean, you've obviously released a couple of albums and that. How was that? How did you find that from, being in in High School Musical? How did you find it writing your own music and going on tour just by yourself with your albums and stuff?
I enjoy doing music. I still to this day love singing and love recording. Music industry is just different. I because I grew up in the film industry, I feel like I have an understanding of it. I feel like I have a map of it. And there's just a way it's done. But with the music industry, because it's been so changing over the years, recently, especially while I was doing music and in my generation has been the big turn point in music for how it's done with media and with digital. It's I get confused. I feel like I feel like I've kind of backed off on music for the time being. I just want to be able to do it on my own right now and find more of a sound. And I guess maybe wait a little bit more. So I personally have a better understanding on it, or a better holder, or just I grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we won't keep you much longer, Corbin. But what projects are you working on at the moment? I mean, what have you got in the pipeline?
In the pipeline, I just finished a film called Shaker Pointe.
Okay.
And it's a take on Hamlet.
All right.
Really interesting piece. It's set in modern day times. It's not in verse, but the Hamlet character is played by a female, Shanika Knowles.
Okay.
Who's wonderful in the film. And Claudia's character, the villainous character, is split into two. It's a father and a son. So I play the son, so I'm one of the villains. Very, very devious and murderous. That was nice and juicy and fun to do. And that one's coming out on Lifetime in February, I believe.
Oh, okay, we'll keep an eye out for that. Sounds good. Has anyone got anything else they want to ask Corbin before we wrap up?
Yes, I've received a tweet from a fan, Kiri Brown, and I have to ask this because he wants to know, what is your favourite High School Musical song?
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I would have to say, I have to say the Junkyard Number, man. That was to this day so the coolest dance, the coolest set, and it was like me and Zach just kind of wrap up everything with that friendship.
It's almost, it was a bit like Grease Lightning in a way, with the cars and that, and you going like head to head and that.
Just living our own Grease days.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Corbin. You've been absolutely fantastic to talk to, and we look forward to your upcoming films. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was such a pleasure talking to y'all.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Hopefully we'll meet again someday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on the show. Also, if there's any kind of charities you'd like us to link the episode to, if you can just you just email the links through, the list through, and we'll put the links on, put the links on the episode and put the links on the website as well. Just, because, I can tell that you're passionate about sort of spreading positivity, and, that's a good thing. If the Ice Bucket Challenge has shown anything, that people are, up for charity.
Right? It's so funny though, because even with the Ice Bucket Challenge, you read comments and you see people focusing on, oh my gosh, but it's in water. And the whole point is you're doing this, but you don't have to give money. When the truth is, most of the celebrities who did the Ice Challenge still donated anyway. And because of this Ice Bucket Challenge, because of what people have done, they've raised more money than they ever have.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So it's just putting it again. It's just perspective.
Well, over here it was you had to I think the general rules were you donate and do the challenge. I think who was it? It was the ALS. It was the charity.
Yeah, ALS.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, and something like they rate their average yearly donations were like $2 million, and this year already they've raised something like $18 million alone, just like in the last few months.
I think total there, the Ice Bucket Challenge chalked up 94 million. I think last record that I heard. Cause I swear I read that in the paper the other day because I did my Ice Bucket Challenge a few days ago and made a donation to Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Nice.
So it's just nice. It's just nice to sort of like see that. But I do agree. There's a lot of people, even with something like charity, focusing on the negativity and trolling comments. Sort of,
yeah, and it took me a while to just kind of build up that barrier to just be like, okay, look, whatever.
Yeah.
But you like I said, you gotta follow your own path. You gotta put your own mind ahead.
Yeah, I think positivity is going to move forward because apparently all the cynical Generation Xers are going to be phasing out soon. So,
they were just going to be stuck with a bunch of wusses.
Yeah.
Balance.
Thank you so much, Corbin. You've been an absolute pleasure to talk to, and
thank you very much. And I'll make sure that we send you guys links for the charity.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, and enjoy your day.
Will do. You too.
Yeah, man, have a good one.
have a great day.
So that was Corbin Bleu, everyone. I mean, I've got to say, I was well impressed with him. What a fantastic guy. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. And you never know when you sort of like speak to someone how they're going to sort of like, sort of be and sort of like how they're going to respond to some of the questions. Cause, you kind of like take them, by surprise with something, don't you?
Mm.
And so, he was just this really inspirational guy, and he doesn't seem like he's let any fame go to his head. He actually genuinely has a passion and does care for charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. Like, working with kids and that sort of stuff, it's nice to see someone else who has such a big passion for it.
Yeah. I mean, because obviously he was, what was he? He was like 15, 16 when the first High School Musical came out, and, a lot of actors sort of, it can go to their head, and they could sort of take a downward spiral, I mean, like Edward Furlong would be a perfect example of that, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, as he said, he'd been acting pretty much his entire life since he was like 2 odd years old. He started out in commercials. He sounded like he had a very supportive family behind him, and yeah, when you start out having that much that age, we've all seen, the car crashes, that become someone's life. Unfortunately, the drugs, the drinking, the court cases.
Yeah.
But he seems like a really great guy who's got a lot out of life and wants to put give a lot back. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, he's just, you could, obviously everyone's just heard it. You can just tell, he's an inspirational guy. He just makes you want to go out and do more,
Yeah. I mean, the Michael Jackson story was actually fascinating. And that's probably what the best thing about doing these interviews is, that you can just ask a question and then you get an answer that you're like, wow, I didn't expect a story like that. I thought it was brilliant. And as I said to him, I know a lot of people, that I've met over the years, do feel from the High School Musical generation, do feel that really sort of changed their life. And it was this big inspirational movie to them, very much like kind of Mighty Ducks was to us. So, cause you gotta admit, it gets a lot of flack. High School Musical gets a lot of flack from,
our generation.
yeah, from cynics and stuff. I mean, okay, the South Park episode, Elementary School Musical, was absolutely hilarious. It was absolutely genius, but that's South Park at its best, as usual.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of needless hate for High School Musical.
I think it's just who it's aimed at. Obviously, as they go on, the three movies, you know, they sort of like they sort of appeal to a different age range, and like I really enjoyed High School Musical 3. I mean, the first one, it's, you know, because obviously it was growing up with the audience, but you know, watching them as an adult, you know, sort of as they go on, they sort of become a little bit more appealing because they're appealing to, you know, closer to your age.
Well, because you've got kids as well, so
Yeah.
for them, and I think that's the difference. High School Musical was never supposed to be for really people of the age group. It was for young. It was for 12-year-olds who wanted to aspire to be the 15, 16-year-old. It was for like, yeah, the freshmen to look up to the seniors kind of thing, I guess. Whereas like American Pie was, at the time for us, it came out, yeah, we were about the same age as the characters in American Pie. So it was for us. It was for the generation that was portrayed in the film. Yeah. Whereas like High School Musical, it is just fun. I mean, I watched it, and yeah, okay, it's not original. It is a retell of Romeo and Juliet. It's a classic tale, but it's fun. That's all it is. It's fun. I don't think you can really hate on anything that is just, like I say, just, I don't know. So I don't know, what did people get so worked up because it was this mass marketing kind of merchandise machine, or that's everything.
I think the thing as well that blows your mind, so it's the first two were TV movies.
Yes.
You know, you think it was a massive worldwide phenomenon. It was just a TV special. Yeah. So I can't. Can you remember any other movie that was a TV special that took the world by storm?
To be honest, even if I was to, I think, research, I don't think I could find another example of something. I mean, I can find a TV movie that became popular,
yeah,
but didn't sort of like rival Harry Potter and forming a generation.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're forming their ideals, their motivations, their personalities, their ambitions, their ethics and morals, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no way. There's no way another TV movie has come close.
I like the fact as well that he was just such a down to earth guy. You know, he's like, I've done some films that I've really enjoyed and some that I haven't. You know, I feel like with a lot of it, I mean, no one really that we've interviewed and that, but you see a lot of people, they're like afraid to admit that, you know, films they did weren't that good and that. Whereas
I've always found it quite sad when you have sort of actors who distance themselves from their breakthrough roles.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't be ashamed of it. Just, you know, have fun with it. A lot of the time, these films that you might think are like bad or an embarrassment, they have a cult following. So don't mug off the cult fans. And also, it was your start.
Yeah.
It's like your first car. I wouldn't drive my first car now, but it has a special place because it was my first car.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? You know, just because you're in Leprechaun doesn't mean you can be bitter about it and like deny you're in it like 30 odd years later. I'll let her off because she's hot.
Loz, you got anything?
Like, the movie for me is not, I'm not into my musicals, like, I get a bit cringeworthy of that stuff. But to see a movie that's created such a buzz and created such a positive attitude for so many people, you can't, you know, be hating on it. When it's created that much of a phenomena and it's helped people through some different things and made people realise that you don't have to, if you're a jock, you don't have to always beat on other people. You can be the guy that likes music as well and all that sort of stuff. And to create that sort of, well, I don't really know. To create that is quite impressive for just a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, a lot of people sort of like hate it. A lot of people love it, and like I say, you can give me a load of reasons. Yeah, exactly. It's harmless. You can give me a million reasons why it's not a good film, but I don't think you can really give me a decent reason why to hate it.
It's. I think as well as it's a kids Disney film.
Yeah.
Whereas and nowadays a lot of Disney films, especially like the mainstream cartoon ones and the Pixar ones, all have adult appeal as well. But what people are forgetting, it was a TV movie special.
Yeah.
It was aimed to be on TV one Saturday or Sunday afternoon for kids to watch at home.
Yeah.
It wasn't thrown out there for you to go and pay money and spend $5 £6-7 on a ticket, and make your parents sit for it. It wasn't for that, It was for the kids to sit down at home and watch it on their own.
I 100% agree, actually. That is probably why people don't have an affection for it.
Yeah.
Like they might do, like you say, Pixar, because it didn't need to engage an adult audience, because it was, like you say, put the DVD on, or the TV on the Disney Channel, the kids sit there and watch it while you cook the dinner. They're happy, they get to dance around, sing along to it. I think it's harmless.
I can't remember the last kids film that I watched with my kids that didn't have adult appeal in, that was a mainstream theatrical release, because they can't do it anymore.
I think, to be honest, the last films I can really think of that didn't have a great adult appeal were the Garfield films. They flopped.
God. Yeah, they weren't. Well, they had Jennifer Love Hewitt in, so that was the adult appeal.
Yeah, but that's not the same as like the satirical kind of the jokes that only the adults would get. I mean, look at Ghostbusters; it's full of jokes that you only get sort of as you get older.
Mm.
And even The Simpsons. There are episodes of Simpsons where I think about 5 years afterwards, I'd watch them on rerun and go, "Oh, I get that joke now." Because it needed that. It wasn't a kids thing. But yeah, High School Musical was for kids. That's a very astute observation.
I mean, because we were going to say that, like, how it was sort of like the last generation's Mighty Ducks, but it's different because the Mighty Ducks has that kind of adult appeal. There is sort of like the adult storyline of who's a drink driver and things like that. But the thing is as well, it's like, the Mighty Ducks, you would have thought that was stupid back in the day, because you're like, these kids are running around playing ice hockey going quack, 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 quack. And the funny thing is as well, is like, because I play ice hockey, it's sort of like the Mighty Ducks between everyone. I don't. I've got like Ducks jerseys and I go training and everyone's like, oh, you got a Ducks jersey? And I'm like, yeah, so what? I play hockey because I watch the Mighty Ducks. 99% of the people on the ice started hockey, whether it was through roller hockey or going ice hockey, through watching the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
No, you can't deny it. And when you say it to them, they're like, yeah, so, but, I'm growing up. It's like, whatever.
Okay, so this is the thing. This is what I'm going to ask you now then. Because, obviously, we've nailed down that the reason a lot of people had hate from High School Musical was, one, they never saw it and they just jumped on the bandwagon. Two, is because it was a TV show, like TV movie, sorry, and it wasn't aimed for them. So, you can't, if something's not targeted or constructed or formed or anything or written or made for you, you're probably not going to like it because it's not catering to your taste.
Yeah.
So, obviously, because musicals used to be a guaranteed banker in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as sound came in, tap dance, singing, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, all of it, 1930s, 40s, 50s, musicals were guaranteed. Wizard of Oz, dancing, singing in the rain, sorry. What happened to them? Because there are still some. There was Cabaret and there was Grease, obviously, and Grease is still the big one. But then they kind of like disappeared, didn't they, for like a long time?
They're a roller coaster of a genre. They're not consistent. They just sort of, but that's like all genres, really.
Yeah.
They're just like, you can't say what happened to them. They're like all genres. Every 10 years we have a surge of horror movies and then they fade away. And then you have a surge, like, early 2000s we had your Moulin Rouge and your Chicago, and then it sort of faded out. And then you had High School Musical, and from High School Musical you got like Camp Rock, Hairspray, and Mamma Mia. It was like that resurgence, and then all of a sudden it faded out. And now, things like The Wizard of Oz and things like that is being re-released in 3D, and I guarantee within the next 2 years there'll be another surge of it.
But like,
Les Mis, didn't you?
What's that? Oh yeah, Les Mis.
Les Mis.
Well, The difference is, a lot of those are obviously stage productions that are virtually timeless, that are now on the big screen. They're getting big screen adaptations, like Joel Schumacher's Phantom of the Opera. And
that was one as well back in
Madonna, the Evita, yeah. So Chicago and stuff like that, they're a bit different because they're already well-established, timeless kind of pieces, like even like The King and I guess maybe it takes, obviously every film needs an audience, so you have to have enough people into the same thing to warrant a release. Like suddenly there's all these dance films out there, like all the hip hop dance films, you know?
Oh yeah, like Step Up and
Yeah, Step Up, Jump In. All that stuff. And there's another Step Up coming out, isn't there? Or it should have recently come out. Obviously, this is not my thing, but if you go back to like the sort of the 1930s, you can see the parallel because obviously everyone was into like more of one kind of music and into like tap dance and all this, like your stage performances. You can release a film that was all tap dance and all singing and dancing.
Well, you had the 80s dance surge, didn't you? You had
Footloose,
Flash Dance.
Yep,
As I say, it's just every generation has their surge of, you know.
I think it just seemed that in the 80s and the 90s, I think they just seemed there was less of them, whereas like every generation has. I mean, obviously the 60s you had West Side Story, 70s you had Grease, there was Sound of Music again in the 60s, but again that's Disney, and Disney's always going to do that. That's what Disney does. It does music.
Well, that's what I mean. Frozen's out. Oh, that's sort of like. I mean, to be honest, Frozen's. It's just Disney doing Disney, you know. Obviously, Tangled and things like that. They're all.
But that was.
Sorry, go on.
So no, that was the problem, wasn't it? Disney sort of like dropped down, in like the pecking order for animated studios because they gave up on what was their ultimate like unique selling point, like what was their thing, and that was songs. Look at Frozen, worldwide phenomenon because you know Disney let them sing again.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Pixar doesn't do songs. It does like, you know, the soundtrack, doesn't it? It's Randy Newman.
I think the reason why Frozen is got massive appeal as well, because it's slightly different, you know, it's not so much, you know, all the Disney films are, you know, a princess or a prince, a queen or something trying to be saved, you know, and the man comes to rescue, whereas Frozen's not like that. It's about, you know, like two sisters trying to find each other, you know, because they've been alone. You know, it's slightly different. You've got like the snowman, you know, the comic relief is a main character as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a different formula to the usual.
I don't know. I think it's classic Disney, but they do take some, not risks, but they do change it up. They change it up enough, and also they stumbled upon a song that is now ingrained in everyone's like brain more than 1+1.
Yeah.
You know?
See, they tried that.
Yeah.
They tried that formula with Brave, didn't they? Because they sort of tried that whole. It's about mother daughter opposed to.
Yeah, that was a Pixar movie, though, wasn't it? So.
Was it really?
Yeah, Disney Pixar. It wasn't Disney on its own.
It's still no. Don't. It's still the same. It's still the same company as a whole. At the end of the day, you know. I know what you're saying. It's because that is the weird thing, isn't it? Because you've got, you know, this one company with two kind of outlets. But then again, Disney's always had different outlets. That's why they can do Pirates of the Caribbean, Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
You know, Con Air. Yeah.
Snap.
You know, and while doing like, you know, Lion King and fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame. So
now they're doing Star Wars, The Avengers, Frozen, and the next Twilight Touchstone movie.
I think the music plays a big part in all the Disney movies because, like, you look at Lion Kings and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, Hakuna Matata," and sings that song. Or you look at
Circle Life,
Aladdin, and yeah, you know, everyone's got that. They link those songs to those movies.
Aladdin.
Without that,
it's just that. Yeah, the reason, you know, two reasons: Robin Williams, the songs. You know, Aladdin is what it is. It is this phenomenon because of the songs. And then you go back. The worst performing Disney films are always the ones with the weakest songs.
Yeah, like I mean, like the 80s. Like, what did they call it? It's sort of like on its way out before the Little Mermaid. And
it was before it was like before the Renaissance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Them films like Basil the Great Mouse, they even have singing in them.
Oliver and Co. does. Oliver and Co. had songs in it. Or Oliver and Company. It depends which. No, it wasn't. That was. I mean, I can't even. That's the problem. If you can't remember a song from a Disney film, or you can't like even remember if there were songs in the Disney film, guaranteed, and that was one of the flops.
It's also that they were such big songs, weren't they? That they become like chart hits. You know, like The Little Mermaid was the first one, and was it Under the Sea or the Part of Your World one, which was
all of them. All of
we're
them.
all singers.
Massive,
I definitely remember like the Beauty and the Beast main song and A Whole New World were like chart hits, and that sort of played a big part.
No matter how much of like I don't watch Disney. I'm a man. But I don't care. Like there's no one out there who can sort of like brag and say, or turn around to me and convince me honestly that they do not in their head know at least one Beauty and the Beast song. Even everyone must know the Gaston song.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to sing it. just so you know.
No, I understand what you're saying.
I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favourites growing up.
Yeah, Aladdin was mine.
Aladdin's definitely my favourite, yeah.
Aladdin, and then it's, what would you say is your favourite Pixar one? The thing with Pixar ones, they're also really goddamn good.
Well, okay,
it's Toy Story, but as a trilogy, I'd say that.
Rather than pick your best one, what's easiest is to pick your worst one, Cars 2.
Bugs Life. Oh yeah, Cars 2. I didn't even finish Cars 2, but Bugs Life, I think it was, a lot of people like it, but it was just, to me, it wasn't Toy Story, you know?
Well, no, it's Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cars 1's alright, but
no, I don't know. I
even
think
Bruce Campbell couldn't save it.
No, I think they've got they've got on some of the films. There's a bit too much of a pump it out formula rather than the love and that for what they
didn't
had.
have that charm of like the little bugs or the toys or the family tale in The Incredibles, and obviously Finding Nemo was ruined for me big time because Monsters Inc. was probably very, very, very close second. I'd probably say it was 1.5 on my chart. And
really?
Everyone was going, oh my god. Yeah. But Monsters Inc.?
Did you say it's best? Monsters Inc.?
Probably 1.5 on my chart after Toy Story.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. So almost joint first.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and everyone, when it come out, Finding Nemo come out the following year, everyone was like, oh my god, it's the best. It's better than Monsters Inc. It wipes the floor of it. So I went in there expecting the absolute nuts, but when it's something's just built up and you're watching it, right? No, it ain't. Even if I wouldn't have had like the expectation, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as Monsters Inc.
Yeah. I did like Ratatouille.
Oh yeah,
Ratatouille. That was the one
that's probably like. This is what I mean. It's hard to put them in order because you've got that, The Incredibles, Monsters Inc. I mean, what else have they done?
I like
Wally. Wally is good.
I think
Finding Nemo, The Incredibles.
Not Finding Nemo. I just said that.
I'm just going through the list.
Yeah.
I think Wally was an interesting one for me because a lot of people who spoke to me when they saw it at the cinema put me off of watching it until DVD actually, because what they told me the film was about was nothing like the film. The film wasn't about what they said. If they had told me that it was like this big sort of political commentary movie about what it is to be what it is to be like a lazy human race and conservation and stuff, I'd been there. I'd been like bang on that. I think it's like the same kind of people ruined Wally for me. Well, at least stopped me going to the cinema to see Wally the same way that they stopped me going to cinema to see Fight Club. Well,
this is what I say every episode. Don't listen to critics. Don't just go into every single film with an open mind.
Yeah. Don't listen to people on podcasts either.
Yeah.
Especially when they call it Wally instead of Wally.
Yeah. But so back on track. That was an inspirational film as well because that had a good message, and there's a lot of good messages that come with these films, even though they might be for kids and that. So obviously, the Mighty Ducks for me was a classic underdog story. Basically, it was a kid's version of Rocky. Mm-hmm. Well, Karate Kid was a kid's version of Rocky, but this was the same kind of thing. Work together as a team. You work hard, you stay true to yourself, all that kind of stuff. You can achieve all your dreams. Cool Runnings as well was an inspirational film for me. That was brilliant. That was hilarious. But obviously, Laurence, you've got a little list of things that really sort of inspired you, or films that sort of touched you in a way.
I wouldn't say touched me. That sounds a bit.
Not bad touched you, just touched you. Touched you in general.
Yeah, Moonwalker touched me. I'm I'm big on storytelling. Like one of my biggest things where I work with kids, like I've said many times. Part of it is telling stories to the kids of the night and that sort of stuff. And one movie that that came across as bad.
No, I just imagine going, hey, kids, Father Christmas isn't real, but Freddy Krueger is.
Although I did tell a scary story to some year 8 kids and all of them had to sleep in one cabin because they were too scared. It sucks. Yeah, one film that really inspired me was Big Fish. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen bits of it. It's one that I did want to see, but then it becomes sort of like too late. And it wasn't about anymore. And like every time I see it on TV, it was halfway through.
Yeah, and it's like the only Tim Burton film ever without Johnny Depp. That's the main.
Yeah, which is good.
What? I suppose.
It has got Helen Bonham Carter in it though, so. But what I liked about it is it's about stories and how his dad tells him stories and how the stories end up becoming true and becoming the dad's life. And I just love that whole thing, and it's just about a guy who used to tell stories to his kids and how those stories became part of him.
Mm.
And I just really hit a nerve with me. I just thought it's just such a good, happy movie.
It's a more artistic version of bedtime stories, isn't it?
Yeah,
the Adam Sandler film.
Yeah,
anything.
It's a bit more sort of. Yeah, it's sort of. Have you ever seen like The Bridge to Terabithia, where they use all their imagination to create this world and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that feels dark, man.
Oh yeah, I didn't expect it to finish the way it did. Especially the book.
Don't ruin it.
The book's better.
All I'm going to say is, I won't ruin it, but it is probably the closest to.
I won't ruin it, but Bruce, this is a ghost.
No. You know how in the 80s, kids' films weren't safe. Anything could happen. Bridge to Tabitha or whatever it's called. Yeah, however you say it. Laurence? Bridge to?
Terabithia.
Thank you. I'll Google map that later and learn how to pronounce it. Yeah, it's a risky film. It's one of those things that definitely make kids go, "Oh, mommy."
It's a kids' film though, isn't it? Yeah. It's like the Goonies, like the Fratellis are threatening to they
cut out his tongue.
Yeah, like cut out Chunk's tongue and things like that.
You watch them now. A bullet hole falls on them.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Just so you know as well, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are the same person.
What's their life?
Why in life?
Yeah, sure. The other feel good. I've got a couple of feel good movies. The other one was the Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. You must have seen that one.
Yeah,
that's a great tearjerker, that one. And
did you ever see £7?
Yeah, loved it.
That was sort of like the opposite effect, wasn't it? It was like,
I was going to say, how are we sort of like define or categorizing or rating feel good if it's also a tearjerker? Surely is it because it's happy crying or?
Yeah, it's happy. Says it's like Notebook is sad crying because.
Go, moving on.
This is lots of talking about.
I know, but that's not. It's not happy sad, is it? It's not a feel good movie. Well, it's sort of.
Let's do. Let's do it for the next episode, like your top 5 tearjerkers. I mean, for me, probably Forrest Gump is going to be number 1 on my list.
We've just ruined it then, wasn't
it?
Yeah. All right.
Well, okay. We'll come back with at least one.
No, because there's others on there, but that bit, when he started talking to Jenny's grave, he's like, "You died on a Wednesday," and he's like, "I miss you, Jenny," and he just starts crying. I'm just like,
it's pretty sad. It's not as sad as Turner and Hooch, though.
Pulled that one out the hat, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. That film had me in tears.
I think Green Mile had it for me. Green Mile was up there.
They're all Tom Hanks films.
It's true. Castaway, Wilson.
Wilson!
This is what we should do. We should do a top 5, And then at the end, we'll see how many of all of ours have got Tom Hanks in.
Thanks to them, yeah.
Right, well, let's leave the subject now then, before we ruin it. Right, is anyone...
No, Sam, you haven't said your feel-good movie first.
It's like, see, this is why I was
It's
upset
the one with
I didn't
big.
have time
It's
to
got
get
Tom
on my
Hanks
prep.
in it.
Yeah, look at it, Big, The Money Pit, Joe versus the Volcano.
That was a tearjerker because it was so bad.
I quite like it. But, I don't know, it's one film. I know one off the top of my head is a film called 1 Week. It's a Canadian film. It's got Joshua Jackson, which is quite fitting because we were just talking about the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
I don't know, you've got to watch it. It's going to be out there somewhere on like Netflix or something. But what it is that at the beginning you find out like he's in the doctor's office and he finds out he's like he's got cancer and he needs treatment because it's like quite aggressive.
Does he put 12 bets?
Yeah, I was just going to say, does he put 12 bets on? But no, and his wife, he goes home to his wife and he's like, you know, he's like a city bod, you know, office job, and he's just like, oh God, I could die, you know, and I've got to go in and spend my last days on earth. I could just be sitting in a hospital with like tubes and, you know, recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
So he says to his wife, he's like, look, just give me 1 week, because he buys a motorbike on the way home from the hospital. Like he's walking home and he just sees a motorbike and he buys it and goes, look, I'll have the surgery, you know, I'll do whatever you want, but just give me 1 week. I just want to go drive around the country and just see things, because he's never done anything in his life like that. He's never done any tourism of like seeing his own country for what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, he goes, look, when I get back in 1 week, I'll go and have the surgery and all that, but just let me have this 1 week. And it's hardly any talking in the film, but it's just like, it just makes you sit there and go like, you know, there is more to the world than other shit, you know.
Is it one of those films that's like a genuine heartfelt story, or is it is it like?
Well, it's an independent Canadian film, so it's not like crying out.
Okay,
it's just a nice movie and a nice story.
So it's
and
not.
And it's a very. Oh no, the Oscars wouldn't give an Oscar. Or the Academy wouldn't give an Oscar to a Canadian film, would it?
Well, no.
But it is just. It is just a nice film, and like it's got absolutely stunning like, you know, visuals because like all the scenery and that. But yeah, definitely check that out. 1 week, Josh Jackson. I think it came out in like 2010.
I mean, okay, it's not so much a feel good film, but before we move on to the next subject, a film that I watch that I can't help always be moved by and blown away by its pace, its look, its style, the acting is
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, yeah. No, it's Perfect World with Kevin Costner. You know, the Clint Eastwood.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Kevin Costner's an escaped convict who kidnaps a Jehovah's Witness boy on Halloween.
Seen this.
And you've got no spoilers. You've got to watch it. Just plain and simple. A Perfect World. It's got Laura Dern in it. Obviously, Clint Eastwood plays sort of like the sheriff who's tracking Kevin Costner.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's one of the best films I've ever seen. Edward Harrison. No. Anyway, just cut that bit out.
No, I'm not. But,
right. I lost my train of thought.
So we're done with the mega conversation about Disney and feel-good movies?
Yeah.
We'll just stick it on that. I just want to use that and move on to my trailer.
That's what I was just going to say. Let's move to the trailer so we can.
Move to the trailer.
Because
so Laurence,
I found it.
Really good.
Yeah, I found it. Well, my wife told me about this one, and then me and Steve were talking about it earlier. It's a feel-good movie. It's an Australian movie, and it's called Paper Planes.
I watched the trailer just before we recorded. It does look nuts. What is it about?
It's about a little boy who wants to enter the paper plane throwing contest in like finals in Japan. So just at his school, makes a paper plane, launches it, he gets the furthest, and he progresses through the ranks. And yeah, that's it.
I think I watched the teaser trailer where he's playing with his planes, and then all of a sudden, like a load of planes fly over, and then it sort of fades back, like, and it looks like a war-torn town, and then it sort of fades out, and he's still standing there with his paper plane. So I just thought that's his imagination.
No, you got to watch the full trailer.
Yeah, it was only a minute long.
Yeah, it's got Sam Worthington in it, actually, sort of like in something that isn't Avatar.
And it's got like a couple of big Australian names in it that you probably don't know, like Peter Rosethorn.
Peter
He's in a lot of
Harold Bishop.
Mel Gibson. And the other Australians we got.
Crocodile.
Quickly down
I
under.
knew you was going to go there.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does look good. It's worth a watch. Yeah, watch that one. That's my trailer of the week.
Dave?
I completely agree. I've got actually a few trailers. And that's if you want to go first, because I've watched
you do one, I'll do one, then you do one, then we go.
Okay, right, okay. So shall I go first?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you got The Pyramid.
Pyramid?
Yeah, The Pyramid. It's a horror film, comes out on December the 5th. It's directed by Gregory Leverous. Gregory, the guy that did, he wrote Hills Have Eyes, and he also did the script for the screenplay for Mirrors. You know, that one that was
Jay from The In-Betweeners did.
Yeah, it's you know, Mirrors was that film where it was Jack Bauer versus Ghosts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is his first time directing. He's done second unit work on epics like Piranha 3D. It's another found footage movie. This time it's kind of like, you know, like we said about As Above, So Below. Use the whole Paris catacombs legendist, you know, myth thing.
Did you ever see The Ruins?
Oh, no.
And
it was the Aztec or Inca, yeah, or Mayan ruins, yeah.
yeah, and they step onto it, and the locals are like, "Oh no, it's cursed! You can't step on that. Off of that now, otherwise you'll die or something." And it's quite a good film. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously this film, The Pyramid, is obviously using ancient Egypt to set up another Descent style claustrophobic survival horror, but in I guess it's obviously in a pyramid, and it uses the Pharaoh tomb curse, kind of like to give that grounding in reality. The only thing is, I will say, this found footage sort of genre was always supposed to be about realism. So if you want to ground it in reality, you don't cast Jay from The In-Betweeners. If you want to at least convince one person that it's kind of a real event. Then again, the genre has changed so much since Blair Witch. You know, it's no longer about marketing the film as if it really happened, and it is actually found footage. Since Cloverfield, it's now just a cinematic style.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame. Since a lot of found footage movies actually have no business being found footage, do they? You know, there was no need for certain films to be found footage. I mean, Cloverfield, you could argue it worked and it needs to be found footage because it had to differentiate itself from Godzilla. And I thought that worked, even though I hate the characters. You know, watching the survival from their point of view was different than watching it from the military's point of view and from command centers like you normally do with a monster film.
Yeah. I remember you hated that film when it came out.
I still don't like it. But I'm giving it merit that it deserved, or at least it made sense that it was found footage. Whereas Chronicle, I don't think should have been found footage. You know, I know you could use my argument against me and say, well, it had to differentiate itself from the X-Men.
What about Project X?
I didn't watch that.
Oh, no. That's your homework.
Okay, right. So, you know, so yeah, it had to differentiate itself from the X-Men. So it's a valid point, and my argument, you could sort of, you know, twist it around, but watching destruction of a city, from a point of view, like, you know, like a first person point of view, in Cloverfield works. Third person would have been fine for Chronicle. And also it would have saved me endless times of going, what? How the fuck where's that angle come from? When was that footage recorded?
Yeah, but then they stuck in that scene, didn't they, where you see him like juggling the camera in the air.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Just to be like, oh, they can make the camera float as well while they're doing stuff.
It's bullshit. The thing is, Pyramid, the trailer does make me want to see it. Well, half of it. I want to see this group of archaeologists, once trapped in the depths of a pyramid, fight to escape, and that is because of all the Indiana Jones style booby traps that they've got to overcome. However, dun dun dun, there's also a CGI killing thing on the loose, as usual. That kind of looks like the Mummy. You know, like the rotting corpse Arnold Vosloo Mummy? Yeah. Not the Boris Karloff one, or that one with the twisted walking foot from Monster Squad. Did you ever see Jimmy Hollywood?
Yeah.
Joe Pesci and Christian Slater.
Yeah, years ago.
Where Christian Slater.
Remember any of it?
He's talking about why he's so scared of the Mummy and saying that it doesn't make any sense because the Mummy walks really slowly, so the Mummy could always, he would never catch up to you, but you have to sleep, so therefore the Mummy would get you. That was a really weird conversation in that film. So this is basically the descent in the pyramid with, I guess, Anubis on the hunt or something. Again, my concern is it's a horror that's released at Christmas, and a horror that's released any time other than Halloween suggests that its final cut doesn't inspire the confidence in the studio to go head to head over a key season.
Can you see it being VOD in the majority of the world? Straight to cinema. Straight to video.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, that it does star Ashley Hinshaw, who was in Chronicle.
Mm.
And Dennis O'Hare, Loz, you might know him. He's in American Horror Story. True Blood, yeah.
He was awesome in True Blood. He played the part so well. He's like one of the best bad guys.
I mean, I do want to see it, but I just don't think it's going to be worth cinema. I mean, but it's really weird though, because you've got Exodus, Gods and Kings, which is obviously the Ridley Scott, Christian Bale, Moses epic. That comes out on the 12th. And then on the 19th, you've got Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb.
Mm.
So that's 3 ancient Egyptian inspired movies in like
Christmas. Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas. Plus, you obviously got Gods and Kings makes sense. Biblical story, Christmas. You know, even though it's Old Testament. Then you got obviously the Hobbit trilogy concludes. So I can't see too many people investing their money in seeing the pyramid. You know, I mean, it's I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll watch the trailer and then I'll see what I think.
It's strange though, because I mean, that is a weird amount of ancient Egyptian films all coming out at the same time, and I guess Brendan Fraser is still sitting there by the phone waiting for it to ring.
Come on, Mummy, sure. Surprised they didn't do it because the third one made a ton of money as well.
It is a shame. I think The Mummy was a solid franchise until they started doing the spin-off nonsense.
The Mummy 2 wasn't great, but the third one was good. The Dragon Tomb, wasn't it? Tomb of the Curse of
the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah, okay.
Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah,
Zombie Returns was solid. I thought it was a solid sequel.
Yeah, it was alright. The first one I thought was proper, great. That was good English, yeah. Proper great. My trailer is a remake / sequel with / you don't know what it is because it's got the exact same name, is The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Right.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
You know of the original?
No.
Nope.
I'll read you the synopsis of the original. A Texas Ranger hunts a hooded serial killer terrorizing the residents of a small town set in 1946 Arkansas, loosely based on a true story. So basically like Scream set in the 40s. And then the guy disappears at the end of the film, and that's set in 1946. So it's like post World War II, everyone's sort of like happy and in an innocent time, and then this hooded killer, or this masked killer, has basically got like the hat, the hood they put on people before they hang them, just with the eye holes.
Yeah. And
now they've made The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is a remake / sequel / I don't know what it is, because the synopsis is 65 years after a masked killer terrorized a small town, the so-called Moonlight Murders begin again. But it actually doesn't look as cheesy as, like these sort of like horror films look nowadays, sort of like post-2000 horror slasher films.
When's this come out?
October 16th.
Right, okay.
And it watching it reminded me a lot of Scream, and also a lot of, did you ever see Cherry Falls?
Yes.
Because Cherry Falls...
But Michael Bean, isn't it?
Yeah, because Cherry Falls, I mean, you had all the copycat serial killer films, like Valentine and things like that. Yeah.
David Kinderbreder.
Yeah. But something about Cherry Falls was just a bit, it was different, wasn't it? It was gritty. It was a bit rough around the edges, and it was quite gory and violent in a way, wasn't it? But this just reminds me of like that meets Scream, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing it. I mean, I was a big fan of the slasher films, still am, but Town That Dreaded Sundown, the original, I've only seen once, and that was about when Scream came out, so what's that, at least 16 years ago, isn't it? 18 years Scream came out, so I'd say 16 or 17 years ago I watched it, so I'm going to go back and watch the original.
Yeah, I remember I was in secondary school when Scream came out.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. I mean, everyone was talking about that at school. That was massive.
Well, that's why I watched it, because they have it in Scream, don't they? When
I think
given, they go, oh, this looks like The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Yeah, I think some people underestimate how big a thing Scream actually was for a generation.
Oh yeah.
If you weren't part of that generation, you may have like not realised just how big a thing it was.
Mm. Yeah.
Sticking with horror, just quickly, I'd want to go through one trailer that I think will do okay, and one that is my top pick by far of the next few months.
I'm gonna have to rush on these.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, you've got Dracula Untold. It stars not Orlando Bloom, you know the other one, Luke Evans from The Hobbit. He looks like Orlando Bloom, but he's not. Basically he's Dracula. If you've seen Clive Owen's King Arthur, expect a similar thing with Dracula. It's not Dracula Untold, it's more Dracula made up, I guess. It's got Charles Dance in it, which is a nice thing. Dominic Cooper is that guy who played Howard Stark in Captain America.
Right.
There's no budget for it that I can see, so I don't know if it's going to break even. I Frankenstein did really shit. It did. It was a massive flop. Not Orlando Bloom. I know he's the new rising kind of star, but if, the best Two-Face ever can't pull off a hit, then mixed feelings towards Hobbit films. I don't see this guy pulling in a lot of punters, to be honest, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm normally wrong. I'm surprised you guys haven't called me out on the Terminator thing yet, actually.
What Terminator thing?
Well, I said Terminator 5 was going to be called Terminator, but it's not. It's Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, I told you it weren't going to be called Terminator.
Yeah, I know, but I'm surprised you never, go, Steve, I told you. But looking at the title and looking at the fucking stupid way of spelling it, don't you just wish it was just called Terminator now?
Open mind.
Open mind, alright. Okay, anyway.
Unless it's a horror film with James Buckley.
Yeah. Anyway.
Your next one?
Okay, as usual, there's a top pick, must see, and that is Fury, the World War II film with Brad Pitt. It comes out on the 17th of October.
It's got Shia LaBeouf in it.
Oh, yeah, it looks so fucking good. It's character driven, it's tense, dark, gritty, action-packed.
It's got that Saving Private Ryan grittiness, doesn't it? Like the grainy camera, dark, no lighting. What you imagine War 2 be like, just horrible, dark, dirty, and colourless.
See, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, this is like Saving Kelly's Heroes. It's got the character-driven story, sort of package that Kelly's Heroes has with all the artistic realism of Saving Private Ryan. It's from the writer-director David Ayer, who he did Harsh Times with Christian Bale, which was fucking a great film. He wrote Training Day, which was a great film.
You think Harsh Times is a good film?
Harsh Times, I liked it. Well, at least the writing's going to be intense. He also did the screenplay for U571, and other than the historical inaccuracy, I really like U571. It's one of my favourite war films because it is so tense.
Yeah.
And so well paced.
And it's got John Bon Jovi that gets beheaded.
Yeah. The cast is solid as well. Logan Lerman, he's from 3:10 to Yuma, and also Percy Jackson, but we ignore that. Shia LaBeouf before he went insane. Also, the funny thing about compared to another World War II film, which I think is the best World War II film, Kelly's Heroes, is that it actually's got Scott Eastwood in it. And obviously Clint Eastwood was Kelly in Kelly's Heroes, so I think that's brilliant. Yeah. Other than that, the only other things coming out, I would say, are Oscar bait, recommendations. Kill the Messenger is definitely going to get nominated for Oscars with Jeremy Renner. Watch the trailer for that. It's all about exposing the CIA and its sort of crack cocaine drug links. And Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to get a nod for an Oscar from that. He's going to get an Oscar nod. Also, last thing, if you haven't seen it, you've got to see the trailer for the new Keanu Reeves film.
Talked about it,
You've got to see it because Keanu Reeves is back. The tagline is back. The tagline is "I'm back." Keanu Reeves is back at his best in this. So go search it out now.
All right. One thing I want to throw in there, that Luke Evans is actually he's been cast as Eric Draven in the Crow remake.
Oh, really?
So that's a 50-50 for me.
Oh, I don't know actually.
We'll discuss it in the next.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a topic for the next episode. Good and bad casting.
Yes.
Remakes.
But seriously, John Wick. Sam, you've got to check out the trailer. This is Keanu Reeves' comeback movie. This is where Keanu Reeves goes, no, I am not going down the route of Nicolas Cage. Yeah. I love that. Not going down the route of, and someone else can finish that sentence.
Christian Slater. No, there's no wrong answer.
No, right. But the answer was Nicolas Cage. Okay,
It's got Willem Dafoe in as well, so it's got to be him.
Right, soundtrack then, and then rap.
I haven't got a soundtrack.
Oh, that's easy then.
I do. I've been holding on to this soundtrack for weeks.
Twilight, yes, we know.
No, piss off, Twilight. It's a good one, and it's actually a score from a movie.
Yep.
No, piss off. It's the Platoon soundtrack. The Platoon soundtrack for A Day Go for Strings. Absolutely brilliant. When they're flying away and leaving the guy and he's talking about what he's doing in the war, and that's the song in the background. Absolutely powerful. Very good.
Hmm. Is that the one they used in Kevin and Perry?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway,
sure.
Steve?
Obviously, we had Corbin Bleu as the guest tonight. So apparently, according to our guest reviewer, that Breaking Free from High School Musical is the #1 song from that film, and that's the one to check out. As for my choice, since I spent most of my time watching trailers for films inspired by ancient Egypt, actually I'm going to suggest the Jerry Goldsmith main theme to The Mummy 1999. It's a pretty good Indiana Jones inspired score, actually.
Yeah, no, it's a great film, great score. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks for joining us. We have got a guest for our next show, the wonderful Ty Ma, who was in the Rush Hour trilogy as well as every TV show you've ever seen. It's true, he's been in Deception, he's been in, I mean, there's no point naming them because if you think of it, he's been in it.
Exactly, MacGyver, everything.
Yeah. If you want to find us on the Tinterweb, check out our website, boxofficebeyond.com, at Twitter, boxofficebeyond, Facebook is boxofficebeyond, and yeah. So thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you next episode.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.
Bye.